Hi, and nice to meet you on this wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous day out here. I love this place. Let me share something with you. All that I ask is that you give me a little bit of your valuable time. I don't think you'll be disappointed by what I have to say, my friends. And I mean that wholeheartedly. For endless decades now, perhaps even thousands of years, who knows? We have been bamboozled, deceived, lied to about ourselves and our own nature. There have been all these programs and systems that have been designed to specifically make everybody be a certain way, think a certain way, act a certain way, have specific behavioral patterns and all that stuff. And no, this is not conspiracy theory, this is reality. You just need to allow yourself to open your eyes just enough to see through it all. And we live in a day and age now that it's really not that hard. I think more and more people are beginning to realize that something just isn't right. It's never been. The biggest part of this whole gigantic gaslighting that has always existed throughout the history of mankind, throughout all these institutions that helped educate us, mold us into being what we are today, exactly the way they wanted, where they wanted, how they wanted. Who is they? The rulers, obviously, the people who control everything, the people who own everything, the people who feel that it's their natural born right to use you for whatever means necessary so they can achieve whatever it is that they set out to achieve for their own benefit, not yours. This is not hyperbole, my friends. This is very real. This has been around for a very long time. And I've talked about this before, didn't go into much depth, but I believe that I don't know how long ago this hijacking happened. I don't know who decided, who came up with this whole idea and concept that there had to be rulers, people making decisions, and all of these things. But let me tell you a little something before that. Before that came, there was a time where people lived in peace, harmony, in tribes and things of that nature, where there was no one ruling no one, and all that existed was a type of council of elders, so to speak, where the people who would be a part of that making specific decisions for the betterment of the tribe of the whole, right, would be the wisest people, the ones who not necessarily have had lived the longest lives, but had the wisdom that was necessary to be a part of such a council and make such decisions. So this whole idea, this whole concept that you need someone to be ruling over you, or we need to elect someone to do the will of the people. Like that's what they do, right? Like let's be real here. I don't even want to get into it because that's not what I talk about here on this channel. If you've known my content, you're familiar with what I talk about here. So, what I really want to talk about is that the secret for everyone to get out of this scenario that we all put ourselves into without knowing, without being aware, really, because this is all very subtle. It's embedded deep into our subconscious mind due to years of conditioning, programming, being educated a specific way by not only the system that exists, that was designed for this purpose and this purpose alone, but also, our parents, our grandparents, our family, our close relatives, and all of that stuff. Everything matters here when it comes down to that. But perception is the key. Perspective is the key. This is how you free yourself from this enslavement of the mind, way of being, that we all seem to be okay with it because most of us, like I said, we're not even aware of this whole thing. So the thing is really is that the way you perceive yourself, the perception that I'm talking about, is extremely important here. It's the game-changing key that allows you to really expand and broaden our horizons, to be able to see things clearly, and then finally free yourself from all of this, and then change course, change direction, and go in the wrong way, not go in the wrong way anymore. When I say how important and how valuable these things are, I don't think people truly realize how serious this is. Because this perception that I talk about, this perspective that I talk about, really is that powerful. There are so many of us who fail to see this. It's not really our fault. I mean, this stuff is deep. It goes way back. It's been ingrained in our minds throughout our whole lives. So to be able to detach yourself from something like this, unshackle yourself, so to speak, you might say it's easier said than done, and perhaps it is. But the reason why a lot of people say these things is because of fear, and fear alone. Because, like I said, we've been conditioned and trained to just live our lives that way, to let fear rule our lives, destroy our decision making, to always be in this perpetual state of self-doubt, not trusting ourselves, not believing our own capabilities, the things that we can do, the things that we're capable of, the things that we can achieve when we actually truly dedicate ourselves to it. And the thing is, until that perception that you have of yourself, that perception, that perspective that you have of yourself, until you allow yourself to change that and to recognize who you truly are and what you're really capable of, none of this stuff will change. None of this is going to matter. Because you've allowed yourself, we all did, right? When I talk you, I'm talking about mostly everyone, generally speaking, to be put in this box of ideas, concepts, beliefs, ideologies. All kinds of social constructs and systems. And then on top of that, we're also told that stepping out of this box is not good, it's not ideal, it's dangerous, it's harmful, and all of the BS that comes along with it. When in reality, that's the best thing that you could possibly do to yourself in your life at any given moment of your life. And I'm serious when I say this, my friends. I'm not joking. Okay? I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see the time on this. So, until we understand that the way we see ourselves is the key to our progress, our own development, our growth, and even achieving material things and all of that stuff in this realm, until we realize that nothing changes ever. You can sit here watching people talk to you about all kinds of things all day, 24/7 if you want. You can watch, you can sit here and watch other people that love to tell you things to make you feel good about yourself when they're not giving you any tools or anything valuable that is actually gonna help you, allow you to actually make real change to your life. Because like I said, I could be sitting here and telling you all this stuff, making you feel good about yourself, making all kinds of fantasy stories about how you're going to be rich tomorrow, you're going to meet the love of your life, and blah, 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 and all these things that everybody likes to do. I don't know why we're so infatuated with these things. I mean, I do. It's this longing and this lack of love that we have for ourselves, and the fact that we are not capable of connecting with other people in this realm here. Not through these devices, like I've said a million times before, right? People are desperate for connection because we keep locking ourselves away from these things these days. It's just the direction that the world is going is so crazy, when I look at it. People just don't connect anymore. I don't know what it is. I mean, I do. I talk about it all the time, but it's hard. It's hard to see this and know that there really isn't much that I can do. And I've talked about this before. I think I worry too much. I can't save people from themselves. That's just not possible. I talked about this a million times too. I can't save you from yourself. I just can't. No matter how much wisdom and experience I have on a personal level, No matter how much I tell you about my personal experiences here and all of these things, I cannot save you from yourself. You really need to understand that. That's something that only you and you alone can do. Because there are things about yourself that only you know of. There are things about yourself that you're the only one who can heal. Nobody else can do that healing for you. There are aspects of yourself that you're the only one who knows about. And that's why every single human being on this planet is unique and special in their own way. That's the only reason why. It has nothing to do with how strong you are. It has nothing to do with, you're the chosen one. None of this stuff. This is all gaslighting. At its prime. That's all that there is. I don't know what else to say, my friends. But anyway, understand that you are so much more than you were told by any institution or anybody else for that matter. That's the key. That's the secret. That's the lie. You are way more than anything that you were ever told about yourself. You are far more capable of doing things that you can even imagine. But until you understand that on a deep personal level and you know who you truly are, and until you begin to change your mindset in that way, nothing will change. Because as long as we allow ourselves to continue living perpetually in this state of, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not worthy, why can't I find love, I can't, why, all these things, because you haven't learned how to love yourself yet. I'm sorry to break it for you. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And I don't think there's much more to add to this, to be honest. Because until people realize and understand these things. And one more thing, this victimized mindset that everybody seems to enjoy and bask on it, that's another one. It's one of the biggest problems, Gotta get out of that. Step away from it. That's not gonna do you any good. It never has, it never will. No one is a victim of anything. It's just life. That's life. It's part of life. Get over it. Deal with it. Like everybody does. I'm gonna leave this one at this, my friends. I think I've said enough. Understand that you have everything you need. Really, you do. But you have to kind of like redo the whole thing and then start over. And that'll be much helpful. So I will catch you on the next one. Don't forget to leave a like, share, subscribe, and until next time, my friends, take care. Later.